And I think ultimately it's hurt him because a lot of the people that were really staunchly for him have turned against him. And the same thing happened with Imam Hamza Yusuf and some of the positions that he took. That a lot of people have turned against him. And these were people that were some of the stalwarts of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah in the English language. But people turned against them because they said, you can't do that. And rightly or wrongly, if they don't deliberate enough, it leaves the layman or the common man on the street forced to make a snap decision as well. If they make a snap decision, the layman has to be forced to make a snap decision. And I know brothers that in a snap decision have thrown their tapes away or thrown their lectures away because they had to make a decision. I can't let my kids grow up and then find out about this, that they believe this, and then I have to backtrack and explain, I'm not going to do that. So they've thrown them out. So it would have been better for him to look into the issue more carefully, but I realized the stresses of being asked numerous questions and being inundated. But I hope sincerely that he looks over the issue in depth, and then he'll come to a more well-rounded response.
Yeah, I think in answer to you, the comment that you made there, that Hamza Yusuf particularly has mentioned that there's no issue in reading publication from these groups, and he mentioned some of them in his speeches. The difficulty is that they do affect you, and what happens is if you say there's no point, actually you can read those publications. Yeah. And that's why when you mentioned the Maturidi's of the Humphreys in Turkey, I to some degree
you understand.
And a lot of the Humphrey from the South Asian
they have that same shiddah.
Yeah, because the thing is, in order to diffuse this confusion or to get rid of it, it's perhaps better to keep away from their books and their scholars. Yeah. And that's the issue I think we've got now with the likes of Hamza Yusuf and Muhammad Khalid, is that they're so well known, and they're suddenly starting to bring these other things into which are going to cause mass confusion. Yeah. I mean that's the so the only thing I can really advise is when someone looks at the issue, to get to the bottom of any issue, you've got to read into the documentation that's present from both sides, and you have to understand the historic basis. Imam Ahmad al-Khan wasn't born in a vacuum. He's one of the greatest Afghani scholars that ever lived. His dad was a Qadi in Afghanistan. He was not born in a vacuum. And those people that are coming from the Deoband Darul Uloom, they weren't born in a vacuum either. Where did they come from? And why is there an issue that there seems to be such a categoric difference between the ulama when you're looking at Imdadullah Mahaj al-Makki and Imam Ahmad al-Khan, they're almost like identical twins. But when you look at Rashid Gangohi and Qasim Nutwi, they're not. What happened in the link between the linkage, what happened? Well, there was a break. Break in what? Fiqh? There was no break in fiqh. They're all claiming they're Hanafis. They're claiming they're Maturidis. So then what happened? Because they digested some of the theology. And when they wrote the books and they translated those books into Urdu from the Arabic, and they translated those books and they spread like a fire, then all of a sudden, that's where the problems came in at. And that's why it's here. Yes? Yes?
You mentioned earlier on about Christopher Columbus.
Yes.
I can remember speaking to brother about 6-7 months ago, and obviously you saying that the world was flat and they were worried about falling off the edge and stuff like that, and apparently they didn't. And he came across a Qur'aan ayat which says that the world is round, and he became Muslim after that. Is that true?
Christopher Columbus?
Yes.
Okay, the question is regarding a statement that Christopher Columbus sailing around the world when being concerned that he might fall off because of his flatness, and that he found an ayah in the Qur'an that the earth was round, and this caused him to become Muslim later on. Alhamdulillah, I've never ran across this before. From the best of my knowledge, I know that he died a Genoese Jew, a Genoese Orthodox Jew, and was buried with all the Jewish ritual procedures. He lived as a Jew, died as a Jew, and that's what I know about him. I can't say anything more of that. I've never run across that. If that's been stated, I'd like to know about that so I could research it and try to get further knowledge on it, but I've never ran across that myself. Yes? Is there a final question? No? Yes.
There was a documentary recently that was shown on my channel, and in it, I don't know if it was a documentary. Yeah, I think it was. And obviously the people, the group who were behind suggesting, or it might have been a dispatches program. I'm not quite sure whether it was one of the two, or whether they got mixed up. But the thing was, what we're saying is Sheikh Abu Ja'far Al-Hanbali was given a tafsir on Surah Al-Fatiha, and obviously he was given a tafsir on Ghayr al-Maghdubi alayhim wa lad-dallin on that, and he was obviously referring to the Jews and the Christians, and obviously the reporter took this out and, you know, obviously saying that this is
blew it up.
Yeah, blew it up, saying that this is trying to create friction and animosity towards the Jews and obviously anti-Semitism. Well, that's what they were trying to imply, although they didn't use those exact words. So the difficulty is here is that obviously a lot of the tafsir they refer to that particular ayah with that unless there's another one that you can think of.
Question is regarding a statement or a dispatches program in which Sheikh Al-Haq was purportedly making tafsir on the Qur'an, and in quoting the last ayah of Surah Al-Fatiha, stated that this was referring to the Jews and Christians. I can confirm that Sheikh Al-Haq is correct in that commentary. One can find no better commentary on this than the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahih of Imam Bukhari under the chapter of commentary under Surah Al-Fatiha, in which he himself said that. We're going to have to ban the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ because he said it. That's true that there are certain things that were mentioned in the revealed law that go against the society that we live in. That's fine, because revealed law is never meant to run right alongside of society. It always exists outside of society. Prophets exist outside of society. The true mujtahid exists outside of society. So it's never going to be a situation where we'll always run counter to, unless they have control of that society, and then they subjugate it, obviously. So what do we do in this circumstance? We still keep telling the truth, but what we do is we tell them it's nothing against you racially, but your beliefs are false. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, who was poisoned by a Jewish woman, only days later ate lunch at the house of a Jewish tailor, but still insists their religion is false. Precisely. I've got no problem with you. If you want me to eat matzo ball soup with you and to have bagels and lox and other things, I have no problem with that. But if you die tonight and you bust your head open on the stairs, you're lost for all eternity, and the wrath of Allah will abide upon you and the fire for all eternity. There's no mistaking that. But I will eat dinner with you. And that's what we have to make the differentiation. So if we see the Jewish woman that's walking in Golders Green with the stroller, and we see her having problems getting the stroller up the steps, what do? We grab one side and we help her bring it up the steps. Because our problem with her Judaism has nothing to do with her as a person. So when I was in the bus, and I was at Stamford Hill in London, and the Jewish woman gets on, she's got 6 kids, her prayer book with her siddur with her, and I got up so they could sit down. In which a Muslim brother, and the rest of the unbelievers, a Muslim brother brought me to task for this. And also took me to task for eating bagels. In which my response to this individual was to say 2 things. Number one, where have we been told that their religion being false gives us the carte blanche to be wickedly deceptive and rude to them? Even the woman that put poison in the Prophet ﷺ's food, he had that woman brought and asked her why she did it, so that way the people could know around them. It didn't have her killed. She became Muslim. Secondly, the food, you mustn't eat from these people because, the food from the bagels and these things are going to drop bombs on them. Those people are Moroccan Jews I was eating from. There's no food of theirs going to Israel. A lot of the Moroccan Jews are anti-Israel. But a lot of it was we mixed between the man wearing the blue helmet running at you with an IMI Uzi or a rifle. He is different to the man that's in Stamford Hill with the black hat and the side curls. The man that's running at you with the IMI, yes, deal with him. You have to defend yourself. But the man that's walking in Stamford Hill, oh no, I'm not going to ask directions from him. He's a Jew. Well, on Stamford Hill, you're not going to be able to ask any directions from anyone because they're all Jewish up there. So if you're lost, as I was numerous times up there, how do you think you're going to find your way back to where you were. And then when you stop them and find out, green juice didn't come out or anything. And he says, yes, where you need to be is this. And I thanked him and he said, no, thank you. And he left. That's it. We have to make the difference between Judaism as a false, reprobate, Messiah-denying, cultish, idolatrous, false religion, and between individuals within the Jewish religion who may be moral people and might be nice people. That's no problem. You're still going to go to the fire for all eternity if you screw around and die like that. But you know what? You're a nice guy. Play football with you. I'm going to try to win. And use that as leverage to try to present the faith to you if I do. And inshallah, hopefully, that will be something that will be a catalyst. Yeah?
What's the reference for that hadith of the poisoned woman?
The poisoned woman, that is mentioned in volume 4 of the Seerah of Ibn Hisham, if memory serves me correct. Volume 4, under the siege of Khaybar. Yes? So if there is no final question, inshallah, we'll convene from here. And next week we'll begin further on our next century. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم أستغفر الله إن الله غفور رحيم يرحمني الراحمين ولا إله إلا الله. السلام عليكم.